I woke up this morning feeling pretty fine. Got a little secret gonna blow your mind. In the corner of my room, where the lights are dim, got a little buddy and he's one cool chameleon. He's got reds and yellows and greens. Oh my, blending in with the colors, catching all eyes. He changes with the mood like a living disguise. Got a chameleon friend, the ultimate prize. Keeping chameleons, it's so much fun. Watching them change in the summer sun. The colorful companions always by my side. Keeping chameleons, it's a colorful ride.
At the Chameleon Academy, where colors unfold, I learned about chameleons, how the stories are told. With curiosity in my heart, I walked through the door, ready to discover, ready to explore. Met some friends that day, their love was shining bright, eyes filled with wonder, hearts like dynamite. We bonded over chameleons, they were just like me. Passion in our souls, a connected melody. Learn, understand, pass it on. Chameleon love from dusk till dawn. The Chameleon Academy, we're all family strong. Embracing the motto where we all belong. Seeing the motto where we all belong. Oh, yeah, seeing the motto where we all belong.
What the heck is going on over there? That's right. Had to let it get to the end. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to a Saturday of enjoying talking about chameleons. And seeing everybody is enjoying chatting in the chat there. And Eliza, and I need to know what what is it? Would you call it a moon festival? You're going to a festival, a harvest moon festival after. What do you do at a Harvest Moon Festival? I am interested about that. So, all right. Okay. Everybody, we need to get an update from Nate about Fred. Fred is his juvenile Kinyongia bomi. That's a chameleon from Kenya. But you know what? Let's go ahead and take a look at this creature. And yes, it's going to be, oh, the cutest thing. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is Fred. And we talked about Fred last Tuesday, and I promised you all that we would have pictures here on Saturday, and there we go. And as we go on, we're going to be having other pictures of Fred. I've got a couple of other pictures from Fred. So it's very cool. We will. Oh. Dylan says chameleon laid 35 eggs 2 days ago. Okay. Next year, you're going to be in having quite the adventure, quite the chameleon adventure. Oh, boy. So, by the way, Dylan, let's see, 35 eggs. I'm going to guess that's a panther. That's a big clutch for a panther. It's also a big clutch for a veil, but veils typically overproduce in captivity. But I'm gonna guess panther. But go ahead, let me know, Dylan, what species you are talking about there. So, hello, Daniel. Welcome. And oh, hey, McZoo is here. By the way, everybody, whoever here is, oops, let's see. Let's see. They have boots, face painting, stuff. Oh boy, that is pretty cool. So, all right. Well, actually, I do have an announcement here. If you next week is going to be a bit of a different week because I am going to be, well, first of all, anybody know who this is? Who can identify this person? So this person has a 5th anniversary. This is a little YouTuber who has a real cool YouTube channel, and so he's been doing YouTube for 5 years and has done incredibly well. And you are absolutely correct. This is Clint Laidlaw of Clint's Reptiles. It's and of course I'm joking. It's a huge reptile channel, and so he has his 5th anniversary that's happening next weekend, and I'm going to be there to help him celebrate. And that means that there's a whole lot of different events that are going to be going on. There's going to be a number of us influencers there and YouTubers and such, and so I think Dave Coffin's going to be there. I think Adam Wickens is going to be there, and a number of others. And so we are going to be doing a lot of events. The thing is, it happens while my show goes on Saturday. And so I looked at the schedule, and what's going on Saturday is the Reptile Rampage. And if you guys don't know what that is, that's where we reptile YouTubers shoot at each other with Nerf guns. He literally rents out a gym and sets up a bunch of obstacles. We have 2 teams, and the object is to shoot at each other. So at this time next week, I'm going to be being shot at by a bunch of YouTubers. So we're going to have, I'm going to have some co-hosts, Sean McNeely and James Cross. We have McZoo and the DIY Chameleon guy, the Fog Father, are going to be running the studio here. And we're going to have a field correspondent of Eliza Kornberg, Eliza Ann. Did I do Kornberg? Did I get that right? Eliza Ann is going to be the field reporter who is going to be there in the event. And so while I'm being shot at, she's going to be able to show you what's going on from inside the gym. And of course, when my team isn't up there, I will come on and say hello to everybody. So we're going to have quite the interesting show next weekend. And oh yeah, Stephanie Payton is going to be there. Excellent. Yeah, well, we'll be there. Of course, I'll be there all 2 days. There's a lot of events. It's just the Reptile Rampage is the one that I really had to worry about because it's during my show, and I can't just take a break from my show. This is my show. We got all the people here. We need to all be together. So we'll it should run smoothly, but it'll be different. So just come next weekend and enjoy whatever the heck happens. There's a lot of variables that we don't have control over. So, but that's the fun of having a live show. And let's see. Go live with him. Oh, he'll be there, and I am sure both Eliza and I will track him down to get his opinion, his view, and perspective on what is going on. Maybe we can ask him why he enjoys creating the Hunger Games for reptile YouTubers. I think that's a great interview question. Eliza, write that down. We're gonna have to, Clint. So, Why do you want to pit these YouTubers against each other and see who comes out of this? Yeah. So, okay. Okay, it was a veiled chameleon. Veiled chameleon is doing the eggs. Excellent. And all right, you're gonna have fun. Veiled chameleons are awesome. Can't wait to take over the show next week with the Fog Father. Yep, McZoo and Fog Father. It's gonna be quite the team with Eliza Ann in the field. Excellent. Oh, hey, Joanne has a house foundation problem. Well, thank you for dropping by. All right, everybody, do we need another picture of Fred? I think so. Look at that guy. That is such an awesome thing. And I gotta tell you, there is something very special about baby chameleons. They are fragile, sensitive. You do have to be careful when you take care of them. But there's something so incredible about raising a chameleon from a juvenile stage up to adult. And so if you're just starting off, definitely get a well started. You don't want to learn on a hatchling. Get a well started, like from a reputable breeder. Anything you're getting from a reputable breeder is going to be fine. But once you get some skills under you, and you can try breeding, and you can experience raising from a very from the egg if you're able to do that. But yeah, I very much enjoy this, and I love showing these to people. He moves all through his 2x2x4. He's my most active chameleon. Yeah. So what size? Remember, if you're here in the Chameleon Academy, what size enclosure do you use for babies? Nate's got it right. 2x2x4. Look at that. That is a wonderful sized enclosure. Does that? Yeah, there we go. There we go. See, for anyone who has a small chameleon or a young chameleon, they don't need a small enclosure. The only reason why historically people used small enclosures is because they were worried about not being able to see the chameleon, not being able to monitor what the chameleon is doing. And I understand that. But I got to tell you, that chameleon knows what it's doing. You monitoring it is not going to change anything. As long as you're giving good husbandry, that chameleon is going to take care of himself. And he likes not being able to be seen. So as long as you have a food dish that has the right food, I mean, they'll show up for lunch. It's their job to find lunch. And this whole idea of chameleons get lost in a big cage or can't find food, I have no idea where that came from. There isn't even a something, whenever I hear these like urban legend things, there's always this kernel of truth that you go in and say, okay, now I understand why they came to that conclusion. It may be the wrong conclusion, but at least I understand what they were working off. As far as chameleons getting lost in a large enclosure and not being able to find their food, that doesn't make sense whatsoever to me, because there's no way, if you have a nice enclosure, I mean, like Nate's right there, they know exactly what's going on and every corner of that cage. Chameleons, their eyesight is incredible. There is nothing going on in that cage that chameleon does not know about. So you do not have to get a smaller enclosure for a baby. And me, I mean, I do use the 16 by 16 by 30 inch tall. That's it is good enough. It's big enough that the chameleon has room to grow, but you can go 24, 48. Let's see. Derpy is a female veiled chameleon, got on top of her feeder right near the top screen and wouldn't leave. I don't know. Chameleons are strange when it comes to feeder run cups. Not sure what they have in mind. Um, and even more when they poop in their feeder run cup and they just have to go through all these gymnastics to try to maneuver so they get in the way, they can get above the feeder run cup. So there's stuff going on. I don't know what. Can confirm he finds food. Yep, I betcha. Fred, baby chameleons, their job is to eat and grow, and they do it well. So let's see. Stephanie Payne. Oh, got a feeder from Marsha Ann. Likes the clips. Excellent, excellent. See, James says, I always laugh when I lose a feeder in the cage. A couple days later, I'll be walking by and see my chameleon feed. Since I hand feed, it's like, where the heck did that come from? Yeah, they eventually find those escape feeders. The only reason we use smaller enclosures is due to available space. Love to do a 2x2x4 for all the babies. Yeah, and that's we also need to understand that the smaller cages are just fine for babies. And so I want to clarify that when I say they can take a 2x2x4. The smaller enclosures are just fine. We just have to be careful not to say, extrapolate and say that babies will get lost or can't find food in larger enclosures. And that's really what I'm working against. But as a breeder, yeah, you definitely need to use smaller enclosures. Oh, it'd be nice to have infinite space. Yeah. Hello, Mr. John Bell. Very good to have you here. I have 2 hanging food holders on each side of the enclosure. I put dubia roaches and other insects in. Is that the best solution for feeding them when it comes to what I put her food in? Probably. It, of course, it depends. Daniel, does she use it? Is it available to her? Is there a branch there where she can use it? If a chameleon, if it's working, as in she actually goes up and she eats from it, then you're set. You are set. So yeah, and you probably don't need 2. You only need 1, and she'll always come to that 1. But I mean, 2 doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. All right, Roxanne is saying still no effects from the basil. What happened is that Roxanne's veiled chameleon Derpy had, there we go, ate some basil, and I collect experiences from the community. If your chameleon, your veiled chameleon, eats leaves of a certain plant, let me know. And I record these things because of all of our plant lists. Most of our plant lists are actually just dog and cat plant lists. Now, this is what's toxic to dogs and cats. Doesn't mean it's toxic to chameleons. And so I keep a list of what veiled chameleons have eaten and has not affected them. And now I can add basil to the list. And by the way, Roxanne, can you send me a picture of a bite out of a leaf? Is that possible? Or did Derpy just take the whole leaf? I'll take a picture of a leaf having been eaten. If you have it, it's available. I was able to get my enclosure to 95% humidity. Will that be enough humidity for me and my baby panther has? Yes. At night, that will be. Now, you want to be careful. How big is that enclosure? You just got to be careful when you have baby panthers or babies of any kind and smaller enclosures. You got to be careful how you that you're not blasting the humidity. Like if you're using a fogger, make sure you're not blasting the baby. This is something we've got to work on in captivity. Is we have foggers that just have this tube and the fog comes out. And that can be a draft. This is something we've got to be careful of, that we don't use it as a draft. So, and I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm just talking off the top of my head here. Bill and chat. That's it. You've come to the right place. Currently setting up my first chameleon cage. Any tips for acclimating the enclosure? Logan, I got like 700 videos worth of tips for acclimating the enclosure. Uh, but I'll pick one big one. Get it set up before your chameleon comes home and have it running for a while. Some of the things that you do, you set up the UVB and the heat and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that is most forgotten when people are setting up the cages is how are the plants doing? Because the plants will hang on for a week or two, but if they're not getting enough water, they'll start dying. And if they're getting too much water, they'll start dying. So run it for a couple of weeks and make sure your plants are getting taken care of. Make sure watering the plants is on your to-do list every week. Even though the mist hits the top of the plant and gets mist all over the leaves, doesn't mean that that's getting down to the soil. You could have one of those big bushy pothos right under a mister, and it can die from dehydration because the leaves are getting all the mist and the mist rolls off. Soil doesn't get the mist. So that's my one big tip for the day. What's the likelihood of different species of lizard from different parts of the world passing parasites to each other? For example, a New Caledonia gecko and a chameleon from Madagascar. It's possible. We know that it has happened. In captivity, there are parasites that have been passed around. And for example, when Dr. Rachel Sue did her study on parasites in reptiles at a reptile show, there were some crested geckos that had parasites. Well, crested geckos have been captive hatched for years. We haven't had a wild crested gecko come in for who knows how long. So these crested geckos caught it from some other lizard. Now, parasites tend to be species specific. And the reason why is because they're such simple organisms. They require a certain blend of acids and conditions to say, okay, it's time for me to work. And that is specifically geared towards the internal conditions of a specific species. So the question is, how similar are different species of chameleons internally? How similar are chameleons to geckos, to tortoises, to essential, etc.? And we don't have the answers to those questions. So we do know that there is some jumping between species. We don't know how much. And that's something I would like to investigate more myself. And I'll probably start investigating that more because I do a lot with parasites. But right now, we're at the beginning of figuring this out. She ate the basil flower. Okay, no evidence. Have more carpet chameleon eggs starting to sweat. Excellent. Wow, Nick is going to make sure we are set with carpet chameleons. I got to say, I am so excited about, let me see if I can bring up, I think, give me a second. I believe I can bring up some babies. Of course, the thing is when I want to do this on the show, it's just like I can't find all the things that I know I've got stored away. So I'll have to do that next time. But very exciting that Nick is going to be producing, having available carpet chameleons. And so if you're all interested in carpet chameleons, make sure you got contact with Nick. Okay, Justin's got an 18 by 18 by 36. Oh, that's a beautiful size cage for babies. Anybody know what temperature my incubator should be for veiled chameleons? It could be in the mid 70s. Low. I use 72 degrees. That's what I use, and it works fine. Some people just put veiled chameleons under the bed, and under the bed or in the closet. Veiled chameleons are pretty easy. But if you're doing a temperature in an incubator, do it 72. Yes, definitely hit them up for a carpet. We need more carpet chameleons. Want to buy your hybrid enclosure? Is there a video showing all the latest upgrades you've made to them, or see all the features in its glory? I need to make one of those, and I've got that on the list to do. I do have an assembly video, but yes, I need to make a okay, this is it video, and this is everything that's in it. I can list it right now, but you're right. I need to be able to do a video on that. So, well, just for the heck of it, here, let's go ahead and take a look at something here. I can bring up. Let's see if we were talking about the tall hybrid. There we go. I'm going to bring up a good one. Oh, here's a simple one. So you look at that and you say, Bill, I don't see the cage. Exactly. That's the whole point. Because the biggest features about my hybrid cage is we have the dragon ledges that come standard with it. And so the whole idea is that you don't see the cage. You're able to bring your plants up and through the middle of it. And so it's the plants that you see. So that's, I think, the most important thing. Obviously, I invented dragon ledges for this exact purpose. And also you get a drainage tray that comes with the cage. Cage sits on top. And so the water is separated from the cage area. And it's down below into the drainage tray. You can just suck it up with a wet dry vac. You get 2 mister mounts and a fogger input, as well as 2 floors to the cage. One's a solid plastic, one's a screen. And that allows you to decide whether you want the strength of the plastic, the 100% drainage of the screen. And these all things are what we chameleon keepers need. And so, of course, you're right. I need to make a video that will be so much better to explain that. Oh my goodness. 57 Lauderellus eggs left to hatch. That is amazing. Locate holding out for a Wilsey or the small flappy ear Kaluma. I can't recall that. Oh, Brevicorn. Probably Brevicorn. Okay, we'll see. There are also some Peteri, which is Wilsey-like. I'll make sure to watch them all. I have until Tuesday. Is it possible for me to overmist at night or make it too humid for him? There is. Okay, so Logan has a chameleon coming in. This is Logan's first chameleon. And the question is, can he overmist at night or make it too humid for him? The challenge we have with chameleons here is that our equipment is not, well, we try to replicate nature, but we don't do a good job of it, which means that our misting system can blast the chameleon. If the chameleon is too close to the misting nozzle, he'll get this blast of mist, and they don't like that. They don't like the look of fog when they see the fog. They will look at that and they'll run away. They don't know what that is. But if you have the fogger in the corner of the cage and you run it at night, it'll just be a couple of nights, and then the chameleon will be sleeping over there. And I don't know how they know where the fog is, because the fog isn't running at night, but they know. And so they end up starting sleeping under it. So we know they really like sleeping in the fog. So I don't think it can be, I mean, you can do too much. You can fill up, you can go beyond 100% relative humidity on the meter. It stops there, and you can still be pumping fog into the cage. And the thing is, what you're doing is you're pushing out air for water. And there comes a time where that's not healthy. Yes, chameleons like the humidity. I mean, they're living in close to, in the 90s, day and night during the rainy season. This is what they do. So that's not the problem. The problem is when we just artificially push too much in. And I don't have a way to describe when it's too much. See, that's the problem. We don't have a way to measure that. I mean, once the humidity meter goes to 100%, it doesn't go any further, and you can still pump in more fog. So we're still working on how to make it foolproof, how to make it so people can't screw it up. And we're still working on that. So I wish I sooner or later we are going to come up with standards and guidelines, but we don't have those right now. Yeah. How cool it'd be to have a bunch of your babies in the community so you can watch them grow. Yeah. All right. That's right. Well, yeah, Nick, we were going to be having, we're going to make sure those carpet chameleons are well loved in our community. Oh, but Gary is what you're looking for. Okay. Yeah. You have the little babies, little mini Kalumas. Wondering if panther chameleons' eating patterns change in winter or how much food they eat in winter. I live in NH, not sure what that is. So it gets cold out, but hey, anywhere in the United States, especially northern or eastern, will get cold. New Hampshire, that's it. They will change when it gets cooler and it gets darker. That has a naturally settling effect on them. They don't experience winter like we do in Madagascar. It's either wet and dry, or I'm sorry, it's either cold and dry or warm and wet. That's their two seasons. This whole cold, well, okay, I get cold and wet, and then I get warm and dry, but we all have different combinations of that. And so, and they don't experience the wide range of, let me take that back. There's so many different places that chameleons come from, but the panther chameleons themselves, they come from the areas where they don't understand this cold and hot thing. They get it cool and hot. But yes, they do slow down, and you can change that by increasing the heat and keeping them running at full speed throughout the entire year. But that said, I think it is healthy to give them a cool down period. Essentially the 6 months of the dry season. And I've been experimenting with those ideas. Not ready to really put that into a care guide and said this is what we should do, but it makes sense that if they are having a 6-month slowdown period in the wild, that there may be some benefit to that for us doing it. They could live longer if they're not running at full charge all year. Now, in some areas of Madagascar, the dry season hits pretty hard. Not in all areas. Sometimes dry season means it just rains a little less. But in other areas, it means everything dies. So dry season means something different to different chameleons. And the panther chameleon is just so widespread. So, they experience a lot of different things. I'm not saying bring in the part of the dry season that kills chameleons. Saying let's bring in the part where they rest. And but that's just a working idea for me right now. It's not something that I'm saying is we should do as far as husbandry. But that's a real long way of me saying yes. They do change in winter. Yeah. You're welcome to use any of my enclosures as examples. Gosh, yeah, I wasn't ready. Excellent. I would love to do that. Would love to include those. I'm going to make a video. All right. If anybody has enclosures, the Dragon Strand tall hybrid enclosures, let me know if I could have some video of what you've done with your enclosures, and I'll put together a video of people and their tall hybrid enclosures. I think that would be a really fun thing to do. So let me know. Send it to my email there. Let's do it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, carpet's going to be hatching over the next 4 months. We're going to have a lot of fun watching Nick's carpets. I want a carpet now. Everybody, carpets are incredible. They are amazing, and they are they're like panther chameleons. Now, if we are going to be exact, they actually come from a higher altitude than most panther chameleons. And this is a good question. What's a good nighttime temperature range for carpets? I like to give them into the low 60s or the 50s. They do come from a higher altitude elevation. Thank you. Oh, you want to come on and say hello to everybody?
I don't know where I don't look the best because I was at the gym.
Well, there you can see. Let's go ahead and let's stop sharing that. There we go. Hey, Yvette's here. You know what she did? She brought me a Doppio. So this is Chameleons and Coffee, and I was waiting for this coffee. Thank you. All right, so here's something that's very exciting. Petrae are due to come in a few months, and I'm really, as you all know, I don't know if you know, but I wanted to do for my other enclosure, the one that's over here that you can't see because it's totally, let's see. I had a bit of a problem. I wanted, it is under construction. Because, can you see it? Yeah, there's my little stump that I'm putting in, but you'll see it when it's all better. I see what happened is I didn't have a drain in it. And I realized I need a drain in this because I was experimenting with whether I could do it without a drain and find that balance. Don't do that. Okay. That's something that I was experimenting with. You can experiment with it, but I'm not saying you should do that. So anyway, I had to just start taking things out and totally redoing it. But I would like to put, as far as the chameleon, I'd like to put in a Petrae, male Petrae. And so I'm waiting for some of these to become available. That would be very cool. And yeah, just a little swig of Doppio. I've been trying to get my baby chameleon to eat from a homemade feeder cup with no luck. Then I found your video about feeder run cups a few minutes ago. Thanks. Oh, well, good. There you go. Yeah, I made another channel. Feeder run cups are really great for chameleons because when you have a standard food cup, the insects don't move, and chameleons really need that movement. Feeder run cup allows them to run up. So hopefully this does it. I have that problem. Even with the feeder run cup, my crickets won't stop moving. So that's perfect. My dubia, they decide they're just going to hunker. They're going to hunker in place, and they will be there. I've left them there and said, how long are you going to do this? They'll sit there and not move for a week. So yeah, nothing's perfect. And this is an old gaming channel. Call me Jay. Hello, Jay. I made another channel. Well, welcome, Jay. Very good to have you here. What kind of baby chameleon? How did you get a baby chameleon, and what kind of baby chameleon is it? I know everybody's going to predict it was a panther chameleon, but you know what? We can't assume. There could be a Jackson's chameleon because we always have Jackson's chameleons that are born. Could be a veiled chameleon. But you know what? Let's just ask Jay. Jay, what kind of chameleon you got? Just for the fun of it. Is Bill's soothing voice getting a sleepy embrace on you, James? Oh, you know, I think my voice is better on podcasts because here I'm kind of hyped up on adrenaline. So I can be. Oh, You want to say good hello to everybody?
Okay.
Everybody, you need to say hello. This is Megan, my daughter.
Hi.
She okay, that's good. There.
Yep.
She helps with chameleons when I'm gone. Goodbye, Megan. Love you.
Hi. Time for D&D.
D&D. It's D&D. It's always D&D time at this point. I've been window shopping lately. Have a 18 by 18 by 36, two 2x4 4s, and with nothing but plants. Oh my goodness, you have done it right, Justin. You have done it right. You've got it ready to go. Oh my goodness. You know what? The happiest time of my life was when I had a bunch of empty cages, but they were completely filled with plants. They had the lights, they had the misting, so everything set and ready to go. And I just sat back and I just enjoyed having these beautiful enclosures. And yeah, eventually they found occupants. Let's see. Gerald, oh, okay. This is Nick talking about the nighttime drop for carpets. Yep. Feel like 50 to 70 F. Feel like they are more colorful after a cool night. Don't recommend trying to make it colder, but if it does, they will be okay. Yep. It's right. I finally figured out new age. Oh. So you have a problem with the cage not drying out enough. Okay, that is a valid problem. And so, you just have to figure out the balance between fogging and misting and ventilation. And really, this is something we all have to work on with our unique situation. We can't, like I do cage manufacturing. I cannot make one cage that will be perfect for everyone across the United States because everyone has such different conditions. And I try to make the best middle range cage. I wish I could make one that's perfect for everybody. So Joe, yep, this is a common growth point when we set up our chameleon cage, and we have to figure out how to do this. And of course, our seasons are so different. We have to do it for winter and summer. So just keep working on it and bring questions here. In the end, it's going to have to be you figuring out because you're the one there. But hey, we can give opinions. We're good with opinions here. Oh, Kiki's here. We can start. Oh, let's see. Jay says, I know only one person online who just had carpet chameleon babies. Yeah, that's Frank Payne, Living Art by Frank Payne. And so that is another. Carpet chameleons are really hard to find. And more people are working with them. And so really excited about that. And if you want to start breeding chameleons, I actually recommend carpet chameleons. Because when you start with breeding, the biggest problems you're going to be having is number one, the number of chameleons, and number two, selling them. Carpet chameleons have fewer eggs, unless you're Nick and you have lots of females, and then you have a lot of eggs, but that's perfectly in your control. So the carpets themselves have fewer eggs than, say, panthers. And they're much easier to sell right now because there aren't as many as like panthers. Panthers, of course, easy to sell if you are a well-known name and you have the great bloodlines. You can't just create a panther chameleon and have it sell. Carpet chameleons are easier for people that don't have that big reach to sell. And so it's a really good chameleon to start breeding. Veiled chameleons, Dylan, you're going to have a real fun time. Veiled chameleons are a difficult one to sell. If you can sell them for $25, you say, hey, wait a minute, I just spent $25 every week feeding these things. But of course, veiled chameleons are a complete joy to raise up. So Dylan, you're going to have a wonderful time. You won't have. These babies are voracious, and so as long as you're not trying to make money at it, just dump crickets and in with each one of these guys, and they're a joy to watch. They are so good out there. So yeah, I wish veiled chameleons were rarer and could be sold for they're easily, if you take away all of the supply and demand graphs and you just take the chameleon off of its value as far as color and personality and all that kind of stuff, veiled chameleon is easily a $500 chameleon. Easily. They are such cool chameleons. But unfortunately, they reproduce way too much, and so the price has gone way down, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I'm probably way behind in the chat. Notice virtually no basking for Fred. Are Bomi more deep forest chameleons than I thought? They are cooler weather. I would provide a basking spot, but also I'm not surprised that they're not basking because room temperature is very comfortable for them, and so I'm not surprised by that. But I also, for like the shamrock chameleons, I don't even bother giving them a heat lamp because they'll just avoid it. But for the Bomi, it's good to see. And babies themselves are a little bit more shy. So anyway. After I set mine up, I want a harsh critique, please. Daniel, make you a deal. You set yours up and you send me a bunch of pictures to this email that's scrolling at the bottom. And if you give me permission to do it on one of my shows here, I'll give you a harsh critique. Now, I'm not going to be harsh. I don't do that. I don't shame people. I don't make fun of people or any of that kind of stuff or make people feel bad. But I will give you a very honest, and I think this is valuable for me to do on a somewhat regular basis, to have this every couple months, to have an example like this, because there's always new people coming in and wanting to set up a cage. And even though there's all of these resources out there, how to set up a cage, number one, it's overwhelming. There's so much information that it's really hard to take it all in. And number two, it's a completely different world between reading about it or even seeing a video and then trying to implement it, because there's just an experience that needs to be built up. And so, Daniel, send it to me and give me permission to do an on-air analysis, and I'll do it. I think I need to get one of those, Bill, and trick it out. Sounds like a good episode. Oh, you're talking about the tall hybrid? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're actually, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun when you have like the dragon ledges and you can start sculpting and landscaping up along the sides. It is a lot of fun. Yeah. See, thank Bill. This is Joe from New Hampshire. I got dragons as well, and they do hibernate and helps them live longer. And I noticed my chameleon wasn't as much, but she's still eating. Just want to make sure because we're hitting 45 degrees. If it does that at night, that's fine, as long as she can warm up during the day. But we have chameleons. They don't hibernate, but they brumate. The Parsons chameleon stuff. Although there are some chameleons, like panther chameleons, will literally dig themselves into the ground and wait out the dry season. And whether that's a hibernation, brumation, I don't know what we're going to call it. Oof. What's your guys' preferred misting cycle? You can go to the chameleonacademy.com website, and you're going to be able to, and I have this whole section. Go to the basics class or the setting up the chameleon cage. You can go in the menus and you'll see places where you can go to these. And I have these tutorials, and I give a complete misting cycle. Or else you can just go to my care guides on the profiles, like whatever, Logan, I forget which chameleon you have. But if you go to the chameleonacademy.com website, look at the profiles for the species that you have. On every one of the profiles, I have my preferred misting cycle. And that's for me. But everybody in the chat, go ahead and tell Logan what you use between fogging and misting and when you do. And just so Logan gets a number of different perspectives. Let's see. My female chameleon began to lose eyesight. How difficult is it to care about blind chameleons? Johanna, it's actually quite easy because chameleons are pretty smart and you can train them to open their mouth when you put a cricket or something to their nose. And uh, you I'll say I am constantly amazed at the kind of relationship that a handicapped chameleon develops with their keeper. It is like it's it gets into that realm of unexplainable. Okay, wait a minute. You know how I keep talking about, well, there's no the chameleons don't know anything about touch in the wild. Touch means something completely different to them. And so they didn't evolve an appreciation for touch. That's a threat to them. So all of this stuff kind of goes out the window when you got a handicapped chameleon that has to rely on you for food and such. They develop a relationship with you that I can't explain. And so it's very possible. And I encourage you to continue doing that and just start training her right now that you will feed her by hand every day by putting a cricket up to her mouth. And just watch out because she'll go for the cricket. So you got to watch your fingers. But you can develop a very close relationship with your chameleon in this way. Hello, Marta. Very good to see you. All right, Ryan has decided he's playing Zelda for the rest of the day. So I'll keep enclosure building for a new baby coming Wednesday. Excellent, excellent. Wait, you have to have a chameleon to be here? Matt, you don't have to have a chameleon to be here. We have people who have chameleons here. We have people who are getting chameleons here. And but you know what? There is no one at the door to make sure that you have a chameleon. You are welcome to come here. If you feel like hanging out with chameleon people, even though you don't have a chameleon, you are 100% welcome, Matt. We're very glad to have you. But we do talk a lot about chameleons, so you have to enjoy chameleon talk. Oh, and although actually, that's how I got my first Shiba Inu, my dog Shiba Inu. I was part of a Shiba Inu group, but I was the only one who didn't have a Shiba Inu. And so when somebody said I need to rehome one of my Shiba Inus, but I want it to be in a home that doesn't have any other dogs. Well, that's kind of hard to find on the Shiba Inu group, but hey, I said, I don't have any other dogs, and I would love a Shiba Inu. And so that's how I got my first Shiba Inu dog. Maydog. I love Maydog. Matt, I'm here because I always thought of them being for much more experienced keepers. Matt, the thing is with chameleons, it's not that they are too hard. We actually, if you love chameleons, then you're fine getting a chameleon as your first reptile. Chameleons are harder than other reptiles, but it's easy. I mean, no, okay, let me try. They require more than other reptiles, but it's easy to know. We've got it figured out. It's just a list of things, and it's a recipe. You just follow it, and you're going to do fine. We've got captive hatched panther chameleons, and we have the cage lists and everything. As long as you're willing to go through all the steps, you can do fine with chameleon. The problem is that it's kind of expensive. Chameleons have more special needs than say a terrestrial animal. We have the fogging and the misting systems. We need the UVB, and so many people try to cut corners on the husbandry, and then they blame the chameleon when the chameleon gets sick. Okay, they're all fragile and will die. No, if you do it right, chameleons are easy, and it's easy to do it right because we just have the lists. It's not a mystery as to how to do it. So chameleons are not for much more experienced keepers. They are for beginners, but they are for people who are dedicated to doing it right. if you just want to, if you just want to just get a chameleon and put them in an aquarium to see how they do, just because for the fun of it, yeah, it's going to be a disaster. And yeah, don't do that. But if you're dedicated, yeah, it is no problem keeping a chameleon. It's all there. We have all the information. So you're welcome. and by the way, Matt, you have like found the mother lode of information for chameleons. Chameleon Academy is the center point for chameleon husbandry and moving it forward. So you have found the right place. If you ever decide to get a chameleon, well, you have inserted yourself into the exact right place to be. So Marta's got a baby veiled chameleon. Excellent, excellent. Tried to control myself at breeding them, Bill. That sounds like a context that I have missed, and then an autocorrect that has joined in. Oh, we got a baby that will be there Wednesday. Okay, well, Stephanie, we'll have to you'll have to send pictures, and we'll probably have to do it a week from Tuesday, because next Saturday is going to be a mess, a fun mess. Oh. Let's see. I'm going to try to catch up on the chat here. Did Garrett from Reach Out Reptiles ever send any pictures of his chameleon enclosure? No, he did not. Although he did. You want to see what he sent me? He did send me something. Let's take a look at what he sent me. There we go. Almost. Yeah, I gotta find it. Share screen, and there we go. That's what he sent me. So now we see a little bit of Garrett. He works with articulated pythons, but for those wondering what we're talking about, he did this in this 10-foot wide open air enclosure for a panther chameleon. And so we're all just wondering, what the heck? You got to show it to us. But no, he did not send me pictures of it. And he will be at the 5th anniversary celebration with Clint. So I will be seeing him next weekend, and I will be reminding him that we need to see this monstrosity he has created. So we will do that. We will do that. You've come to the right place. We're here to help you get all the information you possibly need. You'll be keeping chameleons enough to. Yeah, Matt. We've this is a special group. We got a lot of real special people here, and so you'll get the help if you need any help. Go to chameleonacademy.com and you'll find a lot of information. Yeah, did I? Let's see. Will you recommend using a deep dome heating lamp with a 20-watt bulb for my baby panther when it hatches? Has temperatures usually mid-70s and temp in the enclosure is around 75. Yes, I think that is a perfect combination. And then watch your baby's behavior. I think a 20-watt bulb and a deep dome heating lamp is a good combination. I like that. Alicia, I've been here since June. No chameleon. Love it here. Yep. We love having you, Alicia. Let's see. That was a similar situation I had with my Shar-Pei. Now I want nothing else. I'm on my 3rd Shar-Pei. You know what? I now, poor May Dog, had to leave us. Well, I mean, we were her forever family, but yeah, she died. But we got 2 more and 2 more Shibas. We are definitely a Shiba family. Love them. Let's see. We'll send you pictures, Bill. Yes, we need pictures of your new baby. Excited to meet you next Saturday. Yes, Stephanie Payne is going to be there. And so you'll be able to see Stephanie on camera because, well, Stephanie, are you going to be there on next Saturday? So will you be there at the Reptile Rampage seeing me get shot at? Yeah, take care of your chameleon people, guys. Don't shoot at your chameleon people. No, you know what? The retech people, they'll shoot at anybody. I tell you. So, oh, you have to bug him to send you. Yes, I will bug him. Let's see, Stephanie. That's me and Dachshund. Yeah, everybody's got their favorite dogs. you just get obsessed with a certain kind of dog. So, all right, everybody, we are coming to the end of the show. Any last questions? Please put it down. Matt, very good to have you here. Alicia, of course, we love having you here. And Nick, got some exciting things going on with carpet chameleons and peteri, and I need to put together a slideshow of the carpets. But I'm actually putting together a new intro, and I'm going to have some of Nick's carpets there. So, all right, everybody. I want to say thank you very much for joining. Next time we will be together is Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific. And this, guys, I need to show you. This is next Tuesday is a special day because share screen. Let me get this. There we go. Next Tuesday, we are, of course, if all of you on the newsletter, you know that this week's theme is about parasites. And it's about using husbandry to fight parasites. And so next Tuesday, Tyler France is going to be coming on. Tyler France is from the Chameleon Collective. He's just starting off as a breeder. And so you may not have heard of him yet, and that's because he's just starting off. But he's starting off and he's doing it right. He's part of this next generation of breeders that is individually keeping their chameleons, and because they're individually keeping, now they can start doing fecal tests on all of their chameleons. And this is introducing the future of chameleon breeding, what we can expect, what kind of quality we can expect in the chameleons. But he starting off at the beginning is working on getting parasites out of his breeding stock. And yes, there are parasites in the captive hatched community. And the reason why we don't know that is because we don't check. Well, Tyler's checking, and he found some Isospora coccidia in at least one of his chameleons. And he, of course, he knows because he took the hunting microscopic chameleon parasites course through the Chameleon Academy, and he used that to figure out that he had some coccidia, and so he got treated. And so he's going to come on and talk about the process of finding the coccidia and going through the treatment plan, because it's not easy. So it didn't work perfectly the first time. So he had to do another dose. And so he's going to share that all with us. And that's going to be next Tuesday at 5 p.m. on the live stream. And so come, and it's interactive, of course. Ask him your questions. And let's all get into this idea that the future breeders in the chameleon community are going to be able to offer individually raised chameleons. And that's going to allow more quality, more attention towards each chameleon. So this is an exciting chapter that we're entering into. And so come and talk with me and Tyler next Tuesday. So I am excited for that. So yeah, have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you, Nick. Community wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for your work. Thank you very much, Nick. Everyone, show your support by hitting that like button on the way out. Yes, everybody. Yes, hit that like button. That's that's always good for me. So, everyone, thank you very much. I'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.